When I talk to him every day about prison, because I told him, man, I can't do this here. And he told me like this right here, man. He said, I'm gonna put you on game. He said, youngster, when you go in there, remember one thing. Somebody mama gotta get the bad news. You better choose who mama is.
Prison Stories 101, we back with another one, man. We got an epic interview about to go down, man. I got my boy Kane in the building, man. How's everything going?
Oh, it's going good, bro.
All right, definitely, man. If you don't mind, reintroduce yourself and tell them how much time you've done, man.
Yeah, I'm Kane, man. I done did over 18 years locked up straight in Texas.
Yeah. As we were speaking off camera, I just want to get right into it. You were speaking on the Texas penal system, how it differs from, let's say, LA, New York. And you were kind of going into some details. Did you ever serve any time outside of Texas in any other units?
Nah, I never served no time outside of Texas. Everything we did down here.
From what you know, maybe from other inmates you might have spoke to or people that got transferred or did other time, what is the main difference between Texas, the way they run their penal system versus like a New York or an LA or anything of that nature?
Well, each state has their own set of codes and stipulations that they go by. See, in Texas, a first degree murder charge might run you 5 to 99, nowhere around it. In New York, California, it may be a slightly different. You know what I'm saying? They might shoot you straight to the moon. So when it comes to each state, personally, me not doing time in that state, I couldn't speak on it. But judging by the prison system, because you have inmates who navigate around, like somebody been doing time in California, they get locked up in Texas, they run it down to you on how it go, and then they can show you hands-on that what they saying is fact, because they're a victim of what they talking about when it comes to the system.
Definitely. As far as units you served on, if you don't mind, letting us know what all units that you served on out here in Texas.
In Texas, I done been on Robinson, Cofield, Telford, Ferguson, Darrington, Conley unit. I done hit quite a few of them, man. I never stayed put, man. I done hit quite a few of them. Super Sig, Pulaski unit where Death Row at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I discharged from Pulaski unit.
Oh, man.
And the saddest thing about that, man, is somebody on death row to society, that's somebody not to be fucked with, right? But when you get locked up, see, I live by a motto, I go to jail in jail. But that motto only activated discretionary-wise. So I just didn't off the wall, because that made me a damn fool. And going to jail in jail means you'll never go home, you'll die in jail. But I still had that theology pushing me. But when you look at people that's on death row, a lot of them get behind bars, and what they was in the streets and what the judge described them as, that's not the real them. See, when you snatch them away from that element and you take everything from them and they behind that door, it could be an officer walk by and say, I will write you a disciplinary case if you don't shave, if you don't take that picture off the wall. Now, if I ain't mistaken, man, you're on death row. Them writing a case for you not shaving, what the fuck that's gonna do? But you got these people who will break down and submit. But then that same officer will leave 12 building where death row at on Pulaski unit, come to 8 building or 7 building where cold custody, medium custody at, and they run into Mr. Go to jail in jail. Hey, get off the line or we gonna write you a case. You ain't gonna be on the rec yard. Why you got that beard on your face? And I straight tell them, man, fuck you. You don't get your bitch ass on somewhere. And they won't do a goddamn thing and keep on walking.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So I never understood how people break down,
Yeah, what is the punishment for someone on death row? How does that work as far as how do you punish someone that's already?
It's the same as any other inmate. If they write me a case and they say we're gonna put you on 45 days restriction for commissary, they do the same thing for them. But what I'm referring to is the psychology behind it. You know what I'm saying? You got nothing to lose, man. These people sentence you to death, so how do any of that even matter to you?
If you don't mind, what's your take on the death penalty and death row? What's your take on it personally?
My take on the death penalty and death row if I didn't see you, and when I say see you, I mean know you. If I didn't understand how you raised up, if I didn't understand the options you had, the options you didn't have, if I wasn't at the moment you did what you did and thought about doing what you was doing, I'm not qualified to judge you and say you should die. I didn't witness none of that. So for me to be sitting in my house, reading my Bible, watching TV, having sex, smoking weed, whatever I'm doing, counting money, and somebody say, you being subpoenaed to jury duty, and it's a death row, it's a death penalty case, and I'm supposed to decide whether somebody live or die, say, man, nobody should be doing that. Because for one, I can vote with 11 other people, but do that mean I'm not gonna go back home, cheat on my wife? I'm not gonna go back home, get drunk? I'm not gonna go back home and snort powder? I mean, if we looking under God's eye, what make me better than the next person? When do I get the chance to say what you is and what you deserve, but then I'm not standing in front of the same people? Because they say you should die because you killed somebody. Okay, well, these people might feel I should die because I was, what's one of them? They thought I was looking at a 17-year-old girl. She under the speed limit. And all I did was look this way, didn't know how old she was. I saw ass. They think I should die because of that. But who's to say, man? But now, don't get me wrong. Some people do need to be took off the streets. I will agree to that. And when it comes to the youth, I have an issue with the youth and guns, because the way we grew up, you had to know how to fight. When you go to the fair in Dallas, you had to fight for that fair ticket. But see, that's old shit. Now they get their fair ticket. They ain't got to worry about walking home from school, who gonna take it from you. They ain't got to worry about that, because the people have already said no more bullying. But this the thing about bullying that people don't understand. Bullies is what make character. When somebody's picking on you, you learn from hands-on how much you can take. You learn when it's time to tell somebody to get the fuck away from you. So that's not me saying I promote bullying, but that's just me keeping it real. A lot of elements that they removing is what's making these kids soft today. But in swap out the bullying, you introduce them to the homosexuals.
Just a percentage-wise, if you don't mind, how many inmates in general in each unit would you say have a bully mentality?
In 95 or 96, I would say 70% of them will have a bully mentality.
That's pretty high.
Because you got to sleep with one eye open, and no matter how many fights you have, no matter how many fights you win, it's always somebody hoping you lose, and it's always somebody that's gonna run into you who you can't beat. So somebody's up here is always trying to be the top dog. And like the Bible says, so a man thinking that he is. So with that bully perspective in prison, it's not even necessarily one that they get there and say, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. No, you become a product of your environment. You see what worked for the first 10, you see what didn't work for the last 5, so you went with the popular opinion and you joined the crusade.
If you don't mind, 'cause I know you said 95, what time, when did you go in and when did you get out overall, as far as when did you first touch down? Was it 95 or any time before that?
No, I went in like, I'm gonna say between 95 and 96 without being direct and to the point on me. But around the time I got out, I had done already did over 18 years, man.
Yeah. When they say the terminology, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, would you say that holds true in prison as far as, you know, when it comes to being on your pivot, sleeping one eye open, working on, you know, just working on yourself? You got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That means you're ready for war at any time. Was it like that when you first went in?
It's like that every day in there.
Yeah.
It's like that every day in there. And the reason why is because it's the same thing that goes back with people saying guns should be took off the street, but guns don't kill people, people kill people. So it goes back to that statement right there. You in prison. You cannot predict when the nigga sleeping up above you or the one sleeping up under you decides, fuck this, I'm tired. And he use you because you the easiest target. And what make you the easiest target? You got your eyes closed. You sleeping facing the wall. Your back is to him. But he know he fed up with what he going through on the other side of that cell door. So what he do? Take you out the game. He don't give a fuck about nothing else. Because it's harder for him on the outside them bars than it is for you. See, for everybody in jail, when them cell doors roll, it's a lot of inmates wish they stayed closed. Because just for them to walk out that cage and step into a bigger cage with other animals, they know certain one of them animals is waiting to eat them up. And living every day with that fear, they'll take the easy way out. Whether it's hit an officer, stab they ceiling, because once you do this, they're gonna put you in administrative segregation. Now you away from everybody. And now you can feel a little freedom inside captivity because it's a threat out there. And say, man, jail is a place that you can't deny your problems.
Yeah. You just mentioned, just the animal mentality. How close would you say a jail imitates a zoo? How closely do you feel those parallels run?
A jail would imitate a zoo as far as man failing to maintain his morals and his principles. When he lower himself and succumb to the theology of I'm cool with swapping my carpet for cement, my bed for a bunk, my woman for a punk, now he's entering a phase of the animal kingdom. Because when you look at another man and you supposed to be one yourself and you accept the ideology that this is okay and you join in, you no longer part of, to me, that's when you start becoming part of that animal kingdom.
Yeah, and I look at it from a sense that, a zoo has zookeepers. Zookeepers will poke and prod you to make you forget about escaping. Normally, a free-range animal will try hard to escape early on.
Right.
Then they'll poke and prod you till they know that this is your norm.
Right.
You ain't going nowhere. This little cage you got is your home now.
That's your home.
How do you feel that similarity between COs and zookeepers work when it comes to the correction officers and a zookeeper? How do you feel like those parallel?
In that sense, it depends on the person that's interacting with that officer, because that wouldn't apply to everybody. Yeah. So I can't say that as a whole, a zookeeper will identify as an officer, because some officers are well-rounded. Some of them you can actually relate to. Some of them can actually see you and let you be you. They don't judge you. They just here to do their job, get their money, go home. They rules say, feed you, let you shower, let you go to the rec yard. They're not trying to take none of that away from you. Now, in terms of a zookeeper, it's more like a taming process. So in that sense, you do have officers who will reflect a zookeeper. Why? Because this particular person comes to this job, once he put the uniform on, it's like a transformation. He's named to his alter ego. I'm the king, these are my peasants. So now it's a training going on. When you see me, shut up and sit down, because I'm gonna lock you up, make it hard for you to go home. You don't have the power to do it yourself, but with the rules that you enforce that we must abide by, you use that as an incentive to make us do what you want. So now it's a training going on. So when everybody see you, man, he know he ain't going for that. Y'all sit down and get quiet, man, because he gonna rack us up. He gonna take away our privileges. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. So in a sense like that, now you identifying with a zookeeper, because you trying to program man in the same way they like to program the animal.
Someone once came out here and said, you went in at a young age. They said this was him, but before he could become a man in prison, he had to become an animal. Meaning that going in at a young age, you have to become almost animalistic in nature to survive prison before you learn how to, read, start educating yourself and become a man in prison. That you have to kind of become a product of your environment. What would you say to that as far as, someone saying that you got to become an animal first, then you become a man?
Now, I'm gonna disagree with you becoming an animal first. The thing about prison is when you go in as a baby, whatever is inside of you is what prison gonna wake up. That's what gonna be the beginning of your transformation. See, like me, I'm gonna give you an example. when I first went to jail and I got to prison, I got a visit from my mom and my sister. When they came and seen me, I sat there. I might have had 1 or 2 fights and I said, man, you know what? I hope don't nobody bother me and I can just go and do my time, man, because I see these dudes fight every day, all day, man. I'm just blah, 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 blah. But now fast forward the tape, 5.5 months later, after I've been there, they haven't been with me. Now I'm isolated from family. Now I'm surrounded by these animals. And this is what you might refer to, I done became like them. Because on that second visit, and I'm sitting up here, I didn't say the same thing I said the first time. It went from, I hope they don't bother me, to where when I'm sitting down and a dude walked behind me and I see how my sister looked at him when he walked by because he had tattoos in his face. She said, damn, he on the way with you. And I looked up at him. They knew it was a difference, because my statement wasn't, I hope they don't bother me. It was like, man, I wish one of these niggas would. That let them know he in this bitch. That let them see shit done changed. So you no longer who you was, I'm becoming somebody else. And they peeped that real fast. Because before I got locked up, big as this nigga was, I wouldn't even thought like that. I got out of his way. But they knew right then, respect was gone. And see, when they say at a young age, it's because you not necessarily becoming an animal, you transforming into a man. Because as a child, you realize going in there that way, you surrounded by grown men. You can't afford to be no kid enough. So you got to become a man. So sometimes being young, you get it confused on what a man really is. So you imitate the shit you see. And if they are animals like that, then you become like them. But again, I wouldn't necessarily say it's animal. Whatever is in you is gonna wake up.
Yeah. Who prepared you, or what prepared you before you went in? Did you go through county and talk to some OGs?
I sat in the county jail, man, and stayed up under this old school dude named Kane. You know, and I talked to him every day about prison, because I told him, man, I can't do this here. And he told me like this right here, man. He said, I'm gonna put you on game. He said, youngster, when you go in there, remember one thing. Somebody mama gotta get the bad news. Nigga, you better choose who mama is. Anytime a nigga get in front of you, he say, don't look at that nigga size, because that's not gonna matter. He said, I'm gonna tell you what I mean. If you in your house and your little sister in your house, if a man come through that house and try to rape your little sister, nigga, what you gonna do? I say, shit, I'm trying to kill this motherfucker, man. Nigga ain't gonna rape a bitch ass thing of her, we gonna die together. He say, any and every time a nigga get in front of you, don't look at him and say it's just a fight. Tear yourself up real. This nigga trying to rape your sister. This nigga beating on your mama. Give him all you got. And ever since he told me that, man, that kind of took that fear and threw it next way. Because see, when you fight as kids, sometimes you be scared of fighting, but it's not that you scared, it's your perspective going into the fight. Because see, if I'm looking at it like I'm just fighting you because I broke your video game, you might whoop my ass because I knew I was wrong for breaking your video game. So I'm going into the fight at odds. But now if I switch the perspective around and say I'm fighting you because you stabbed my grandmama, now it's gonna be a different fight you gonna get out of me now. You see what I'm saying? So it's about the perspective you go into it, and that's when I understood how some people actually lose and a lot of people win, because we're not looking at it the same. That's why I say no two eyes in prison. You take 1,000 inmates, put them on one unit, them 1,000 different worlds.
That's right. That's right. What do you when they say all that working out, all that strength training and all that? At the end of the day, your biggest muscle is your heart when it comes to fighting in prison. What does that mean? When they say like they just want to see your heart based on damn your size, if you small, big, whatever, your heart got to be there.
It all depends on the psychological standpoint in the individual. Because some people... You
did Ferguson, right?
Yeah, I hit Ferguson.
When the Gladiator unit.
That's all they do over there. A bunch of young niggas. I hate it. I couldn't last over there. my record on Ferguson, and this is a fact. I got jumped by 5 Bloods over there, but it was after I mashed down on one of their homeboys behind my cigarettes. But see, it's a cross-eyed game. Because see, when you have the Crip and Bloods, them prison politics, that shit can get so twisted, man, to where prison politics ain't never pretty. It ain't. To where your homies are side with the enemy, and an enemy will be your homies.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up, but see, that's the shit that people really don't put out there. But you got to realize something. For me to come up as a young person and say I want to be in a gang and represent a color, that's brainwashing. You have no father figure, so you identifying with the image that's in front of you. But as you get older, as they say, the OGs, them niggas don't do all that, man. A solid nigga stand up that's OG, he laid back and quiet. You wouldn't know what he was until he told you. Because he realized real gangsters can't go anywhere. But when you get to be a certain age, how you gonna be blessed with the babies and the babies say, Grandpa, take me over here, but you can't go because Grandpa is known for this and that. So part of that OG phase, you learn to quiet that shit down, man. You learn to go invisible in plain sight. Everybody don't need to know everything.
We're doing the hoorah phase because you went in 95, 96 and
right.
You know, Bloods and Crips.
Yeah.
This is all it was, especially down here in Texas.
Yeah, Texas, Blood, Crip, TS.
How bad was it? Yeah, how bad was the politics? How bad was the war, if you don't mind, as far as spilling from the streets into prison?
That shit never stopped. It never stopped. Whatever was going on in the streets, you ran into that shit in the county jail, and the county jail combined with the streets followed you straight to the penitentiary.
That's right. That's right. For you personally, what was fucked up about the politics
in prison?
In prison,
they got this concept, man, where if you doing life, then it's cool for you to be in any gang or whatever and have you a punk under your wing, kissing a nigga and all this type of shit. That's something I ain't never understood. That's something I ain't never understood.
So they made it like it was okay, like just
yeah. If niggas let it
pass.
Say, man, how you think cigarettes got in prison? How you think cell phone got in prison? So if you got a bitch that's gonna bring it in there to you, why you can't get no pussy, man? But they think that's cool and it's acceptable. Man, he ain't never getting out. This is his world, man. So this is what he living. This is how he do it, man. Can't nobody knock him. But the politics is, shit, if he can fight too, man, get out that nigga way. But where's the principal go? The principal go out the window. Now, the principal go out this window. And then when it's convenient, it swings around and come back in that other window. When your little ass ain't nothing but 110 pounds and you got a punk over here with $1 million on his books, oh, they gon', nah, cuz you can't have that punk, this, that, and another. You gonna keep the punk, you got to pay us this, that. Oh, well, damn, why y'all ain't holler at the big homie? Why you ain't tell the big homie we need some of that punk money he got? Man, shit, big homie, man, he fuck around and kick out part 2 of his killing spree and this bitch, man, fuck all that, nigga, we all killers. See, the thing about jail, that's the Academy of Criminology. You surrounded by any and everybody who done damn committed any and every crime, broke the law, and been punished by it. You can get hands-on knowledge from what the price is to be paid for. Where they went wrong, manifest that shit to a different angle and be better at it, if you're gonna pursue it. But that shit there, when it comes to prison politics, man, it get real twisted.
Yeah, I didn't know that existed until someone else that was on Prison Stories came in and said, nah, it was an OG high-ranking member of the Crib organization.
Right.
Had a punk by his side when he was going to introduce himself.
Right.
And he was confused about, why is everybody letting this ride? And everybody was like, nigga, that's, mind your business on that one.
Yeah, mind your business on that one.
Yeah, and I'm like you said, the principle of the matter, like where does that go?
Yeah.
Has that always been the case, like from 90, like?
Man, it ain't always been the case because you got some big homies that's gonna step up and step down on that shit. And then you got a couple of followers that's gonna group up like Voltron and gonna step down on that shit. But in certain instances where, go back to what I was telling you, when niggas really don't want no trouble, but you a part of something, that's one of them tests right there. Your homie, gay in a motherfucker, kissing the punk, fucking with the punk. So that go your test right there. Is you really about that shit, man? Why you ain't fucking with this nigga over here? But they pulled back because he hit hard, he got a reputation, knockout artist. Ain't nobody gonna buck him like that. Then too, my kids, my family is more important to me than this nigga and his dingaling. So fuck it, I'm gonna bag back and let that fly. And that's what majority do.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier as far as having your mom and your sister come visit you. How important is it, do you feel, having those from the outside to come visit, give you something to look forward to? Or should you leave home at home and not even worry about anybody, your girl or whoever comes seeing you?
All that's unavoidable. All that's unavoidable. It's gonna be times where you'll want a visit and can't get it. And that's the same thing as not never having now. Because that one moment you want that visit, whether it's at Christmas, Thanksgiving, or whatever, if you don't get it, it could hit you the same way it hit somebody else who ain't never had a visit in 5 years. Because your desires only get granted from the people that love you. Prison only cater to what they feel you need. But in a sense to where you have people who gonna come see you, that's a blessing, man. You supposed to make that count. But even the visitation can make a situation worse.
That's real. That's real. Let me ask, this is a general question, but we're going to kind of take a couple of different places. But what is the worst thing you've seen that you feel, or let's say top 3 things that you've seen in your damn near 20-year stint in prison? What's the worst thing you've seen?
The worst thing I seen in prison? Well, when I was in the cafeteria and this essay stabbed this other essay in the neck, that was my first time seeing it. So when I saw it, I never seen it before. Live and in my face like that. Like I'm sitting here and you sitting there and I'm eating, that's happening. And what made it worse, it wasn't the fact that he was getting stabbed, it was that I was surrounded by people who had already normalized this type of behavior. Because while I'm watching it, I'm looking like this. The man sitting next to me, he taking my food off my tray, eating that shit. Because he's already used to it. See, this was in that first 5 months I'm telling you about. So this is how you start that transition of identifying with your environment. Because I'm seeing now how these niggas moving this bitch. They watch him get fucked up, blood fly everywhere. He stabbed me, this nigga stealing my food. I'm sitting up here, I lost my appetite like, damn. And everything running through my head, that could be me. That could be me. This nigga ain't worried about that shit. He eating his food out this tray. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, taking off yours. Like,
yeah,
shit,
take it off mine.
Yeah,
you watch that shit and be worried about that nigga. Fuck that Mexican over there, nigga. I'm finna eat. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. Since that happened, how many more scenarios like that did you see? Because that's the first 5 months in.
Yeah, that was the first 5 months
Did you normalize it after a while?
I had no choice but to normalize. Like the second, like after that happened, we went on lockdown. 2 days later, we came up. I'm standing in the pill on the line. A dude had a seizure right there on the floor and died right there in the pill on the line. I didn't even know. I heard about they won't allow you to touch him and they won't allow you to help him, but we couldn't even back up. So while he's sitting on the floor, I never seen a seizure a day in my life. So that was new to me. And I was young, so I'm like, man, what the fuck? I never even heard of a seizure. You see what I'm saying? So when I saw it, I'm looking like, man, what he gonna do? And then when he stopped foaming at the mouth and just laid there and he was gone, they said everybody walk this way, step over him, and go down there through that gate. And when I walked and stepped over him, I thought about that shit for about 2 weeks. Like, damn, man, this shit here. Now I'm thinking about what type of food they feeding. Now I'm thinking they fed the nigga, made him have a seizure. You know, my mind is all type of shit because it's adjusting. Everything happening too fast for me. I'm brand new to this shit. So as I started to step over one body, and then they have to tell you after you see nothing, walk around them. After you walk around so many bodies, man, in prison, you start looking at dying like it ain't shit. And the shit just started happening. You know, before you go, you might have a gun and you know you might shot at somebody might shot at you, but it's a difference. See, in prison, you can't miss. Yeah. See, that's a different kill because you up here when you kill a nigga now. You not way over there shooting and hoping you hit a motherfucker. You know who you hitting, you coming hitting, you ain't no missing. You gonna feel him when you take his life. Yeah. And see, that's a difference. So when you standing right here and you see this happening today, you see everybody responds to this shit. So now, sooner or later, their response gonna be your response.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, well, so let's do it like this. You had mentioned off camera, everyone who does time is different. Like 3 to 5 years might look different in Texas than in LA.
Right.
Do you respect someone that's only did 2-3 years in prison? Not saying respect like you lose respect for a man, but when someone said they did time and they say, oh, you only did 2-3 years, do you look at it like?
No, I'm not gonna listen to him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen to him. No, I ain't listening to that shit.
Explain that, please.
If you only did 2 years and you come around me and you start telling me about, yeah, man, I was locked up this, that, there, and the other, I'm gonna look at you. Because that 2 years, first of all, what the fuck did they put you at for that 2 years? And that goes back to what I said about Texas and California, Louisiana, all these other states. You might get 4 years. California, they gonna put you straight out there on level 4, 5, 6 yard with the big people. They don't give a damn about that. Louisiana, they send you straight there and go with the big people. They don't give a fuck about that. In Texas, you get 2 years, you might go over there to a small trustee type unit because they know they finna bring you up for parole. You're not gonna even be here long. So in Texas, I wouldn't listen to this shit. Now I might give a nigga the benefit of the doubt coming out of California. I might give them the benefit of the doubt because then with that East Coast and that gang shit and them niggas in Chicago, that gang shit is like, it's past time, but they still believe in it. And that's a genocide. So to them, they still own that right now to a certain degree. But to a certain degree, they not. But in Texas, if somebody came to me and said, oh, I did 2 years, I'm not finna listen to that shit you talking about. Because you wasn't doing time, you was in time out.
For those who are not on death row, for those who are doing life, how much respect did you give those men who were doing life that you met?
A man that's doing life, I give him the same amount of respect as anybody else. Because for one, whatever got you life, if you actually did that, I'm not gonna glorify that. But then again, I'm not somebody that judge and say you should be locked up for the rest of your life, because everybody entitled to a mistake. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe somebody just straight up born evil. That's installed somewhere. And it don't necessarily have to mean you was taught that. You could have been somewhere playing by your damn self. And your little mind, what you seen, you translated, and it took you this way. You see what I'm saying? So everybody entitled to a mistake. You know, I don't believe is you commit one act, that's it, that's all. But at the same time, God is forgiving. It's still a price to be paid. So those who doing life, I'm gonna treat them like somebody doing 5 or 10 years. Because guess what? Within your life sentence, your mama could die in 2 years. Who's to say mine won't die in my 5 years?
That's right.
So it's still the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I had on here who had life sentences and have come on this platform sitting right in front of me. You know, right. God had a different say. You know, rules changed, laws changed, right, where that life sentence had to get, you know, whatever the word is, where they're out free. So I guess you could look at life like, you know, mentally, you know, you're really not caged up for life, but it's how you look at it. Let me ask you about like rules in prison, because I've heard there's a rule, you don't tell someone what you in for. Or it's, you don't ask someone what you in for. But everybody look at that differently. Some people, you get a cellmate, you need to know immediately what you in for. How did you look at that as far as knowing what someone's in for and telling what you're in for?
When that became a factor for me, it's based on what I looked at you and what I saw. If you come off and you look like somebody who really don't belong in jail, or you looking like you're a little too sweet, then I'm gonna inquire about you, man, because you don't fit the description. Where you grew up at, you had a complete household, you really didn't deal drugs, you don't have no stories of you and your partners breaking into shit or nothing like this here, man, where the fuck you come from? But some people, you know, they let people come on the wing and they sit around and they don't inquire about nothing. They let them live until they bring it their way. In other places, in other states, then they may, hey man, we need to see your paperwork. And when people doing that, we need to see your paperwork, that's because the prison is already structured to a degree where everybody know who's plugged in with who. And they can't afford to let the wrong one come through. Because if we all tied in with the sergeants and lieutenants and we getting our packs and cigarettes and shit through this hill, we getting money and making them money, and just so happen they get a new major shipped to this unit and he want to run things this way, and when that major come to this unit, he brought 2 or 3 of his boys from another unit over here and this motherfucker's on our block, then they gonna, hey man, look here, we got a new major over here, man, and when he got over here, they say he brought 2 or 3 SSIs with him. That's one of them right there. then that become an issue. Say, man, what you in here for, bro? You know what I'm saying? What's your paperwork, man? What's your name? Then we gonna take your shit. And instead of running it through the system, we gonna send that shit to the world. See what the world gonna run back. Fuck what they put in the system, because if you working with the major, that means you plugged in, man. He might camouflage your ass because everywhere he go, you going. You know what I'm saying? And that's some shit they used to do back in the day. If I'm the captain on this unit and I make major at this other unit, I can put in word and say, hey, let this one come over here with me. But they really don't talk about that in prison. That's shit they was doing back in the day.
Nah, it's real. And you had mentioned, Kane, off camera, you had said there was a time where you got in and someone didn't tell you where they were from, or they lied and told you they were from somewhere else.
Right.
Just to kind of, I guess it was a test. Explain the mentality behind that. They told you they was from East Texas or whatever. And
see, yeah. The dude that was in the cell next door from me, he was like from my city, my town, and 5 blocks away from where I run streets at. He knew my people, I knew people he know, but he didn't tell me that. He said he was from East Texas. But I didn't know the first night in my cell, this was on Ferguson. Yeah. My roommate finna call me out to fight. See what I'm saying? Because that's just how it go down. You got the fight coming through here. Otherwise, if I'm in that cell and the person in that cell supposed to be a solid motherfucker and he don't call me out, then we both fight when that door roll. Cause nigga, this how I go down on this block. You know what I'm saying? So when he told me we gonna fight the dude next door, he didn't reveal to me where he from, because first of all, he don't wanna fuck with no hoes. And what I mean by that is, he don't want no nigga fighting because you under the influence, you got support because I'm a nigga from where you from. I want to see what you gonna do on your own, homeboy, because that's gonna let me know if we in a fight with anybody, Mexican, whites, whoever, and they got knives, if you gonna stand there, you gonna run because you in a real situation right now. So what you gonna do on your own? So after I fought my cellar, then that's when he said, say, look out, little side dollar, say, homie. And he said, hey, I'm from over here, man, woo, woo. I was listening to you talk, and I already knew you from the South. He said, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I appreciate you, bro. See, you put $10, man, you need something, I'm finna send you something over there. And he slid $5 over there because he told a nigga next door, say, homie, this nigga out of Dallas, bro, I can tell how he talk. I bet he get up and get with that nigga. And they betted on the fight. Well, they betted on whether or not I would or I wouldn't fight. But he would listen to how I talk, so he won just because I fought myself. You know what I'm saying? Because the other nigga, you know what I'm saying? And son, that's that prison politics, man. When you have Houston and Dallas on one side, the other side, and these niggas be betting like that, you know it go down all the time, you know, and then that's when I say you become a product of your environment. Because I used to sit back and watch niggas get off the bus and be looking at them like, man, what you think that nigga gonna do? Man, what cell he going into? Oh, he going in what's the name cell? Oh, shit, man, you think that nigga gonna whoop that nigga now? He said, man, I don't know, that nigga look, man, shit. You gonna bet on it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You gonna bet on it? Yeah. So now I'm doing the same shit nigga did to me. But I didn't know him. I'm just betting on the side. I don't even nigga fuck y'all. I'm just gonna see how it gonna play out. And they do shit like that, man.
Yeah. What was the worst fight you seen? Just straight up fight, fist, no weapons.
The worst fight I done seen straight up, man, this might trip you out, man. 2 big ass punks. And the only reason I say 2 big ass punks because it was a punk and his nigga. You know what I'm saying? Which they'll call a man and a woman a lover's quarrel. Yeah. Well, fuck that. Them 2 punks. Them niggas fought hard. Them some big ass niggas fought hard. I'm talking about, if you ever seen
the punk, the woman punk was big as
the man punk.
The man punk.
Yeah. So I'm the man. I'm supposed to be the nigga.
Yeah.
And this my bitch. Both them bitches 6'4", big. I'm talking about, say, man, them big niggas fought, and when you watching 2 big motherfuckers fight, slugging face to face, bam, bam, bam. I'm talking about, when I say hitting it, I'm talking about they were face to face. Fuck that bobbing and weaving, a straight slug fest with 2 big niggas. You be like, God damn, boom, 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 boom. I'm talking about solid punches. Damn. Nah, that was, I don't give a damn what nobody say. The worst fight you could ever see is when 2 niggas go head to head and they lock up. I'm talking about, it ain't no breaking up. I'm talking about 2 big motherfuckers right here. I'm talking about they in this bitch. Ain't no playing, busting mouth, eye, nose. I'm talking about they standing there. Yeah.
Till one go down.
Till one go down.
Shit.
That's it. That's a hard fight. When you got motherfuckers bobbing and weaving, okay, you get good punches and you get good drops and good knockouts in that. But a fight, it don't get no knockout. A fight is a fight. They in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Them 2 big ass niggas fought hard in the bitch. And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't give a fuck about them fighting hard or none of that shit. Cause you know what I told myself? it go back to what I say when you become a product of your environment. Fuck a nigga on death row, fuck a nigga with live sentence. If I got 4 years, all you bitches, it's the same shit, man. Your live sentence and you come in the cell with me, piss on that toilet, man. And I say, look out, bro. And I've been in this cell 2 years already. And I say, man, wipe that toilet off after you piss on it. Think that live sentence gonna get you a pass, and think that live sentence, because I told you ain't got number 5, gonna make me not rush your ass. And you gonna find out, bro, a nigga in here don't give a fuck about you got no live sentence, homie.
Yeah. With that being said, you know, you went in at 95, came out in course of the 2000s. What was the drug problem? Or was it a drug problem when you came in and as you came out? How did drugs look in prison as far as how high niggas got, the way they got high, the way it came in? What changes in drugs? Like were they on something else in the 90s? Then I know they graduated.
I'm gonna say going in, drugs was not that big of a problem. Going in the 90s, drugs was not a big problem because it was war. It was a war zone. You fight. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't got the freedom to sit back and get high and walk around high and do all that type of shit and try to be. See, nowadays, niggas getting high off anything now. They chasing this shit. They don't give a damn if it's a can of Raid, fall paper. They doing all type of shit, any and everything, snorting pills, chewing. See, back then, you know, it's kind of like how punks, as they say, be in the closet. Okay, nigga, you not finna be known for walking around here sniffing paint. You know what I'm saying? Getting high off glue thinner and shit like this here. You not finna be known for that, man. That's some shit that a nigga gonna look at you unmanned and like, nigga, what is you, a kid or something? Nigga, what the fuck you over there trying? But now, so many people coming through the door, they left shit out there, they trying anything. You know what I'm saying? Especially that, what was that K2 shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you can't get no charge. This ain't real weed, this K2. It gets you high like weed, so all that shit, it got worse, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you know when niggas ain't doing a lot of fighting in the cage, man, you gotta understand something. If you ever go and see a yard with a bunch of dogs and it ain't never no fights or it ain't too many fights, then you know it's something got to be going on with them dogs, the reason why they not acting the way they should be acting inside a cage. And see, that's the psychology of being incarcerated. If we lock all you niggas up in one motherfucking spot, y'all ain't got into it with each other. No matter what we do, we can't turn one against the other. We can't stand up in the picket and watch one good fight today. Then something ain't right. It's cause they high. That's why. These niggas is see that toning down of violence, you had the rat on the wall, you got the drugs, then you got the homosexual campaign that's been promoted. Man, when I left prison, you know they was thinking about introducing condoms into prison to prevent the spread of AIDS because they know boys gonna fuck boys. When I heard that shit, I said, man, you got to be bullshit, man. These people actually gonna go that far to stop the spread of AIDS, but you realize what you promoting at the same time.
Shit.
Why am I going over here getting a condom if I'm not finna do this shit? You promoting it. Yeah, man, so it got worse.
Speaking of the snitch problem, how bad did the snitch problem get? Like you said, once they put that rat on the wall saying they're trying to incentivize or, you know, hey, we want you guys to tell. There's incentives. Do you feel it, first of all, do you feel it saved lives? Do you feel it stopped crime in prison? Once they put that rat on the wall and incentivize inmates to tell on each other?
That rat ain't never stopping shit. What that rat did do was make some people think twice before they act. But it ain't never stopped shit. Because just like I can sit here right now and tell you Texas prison system is watered down and a nigga did 2 years, couldn't tell me shit about it. Okay, that prison unit he was on, that prison unit might not be like that, right? The guards that was around who would turn a blind eye, they might not be a lot of them around, right? But that don't mean because that unit ain't like that, it's some niggas on that bitch like that. Cause see, you can come in the cell with me or you can go in the cell with somebody else and you just got here. And I'm just speaking in general. Not like I'm that type because I don't give a fuck about that jail shit. I'm just saying, I could be somebody who don't give a fuck about the rules or none of that. You been around other inmates who succumb to what these people preaching and teaching. So they won't fuck with you. They won't get at your ass. They won't hurt you. They won't sharpen down those spoons and fuck you off. But just because the majority of the unit ain't like that, that don't mean you won't walk up in the cell with a nigga that's like that. So it just make people think twice before they act. But then people who really try and survive, then it go back to what they say, you said earlier, stay ready, keep from getting ready.
Right.
See, that's that sleeping with one eye open, because you never know who you in the cell with, man. You never know. So you got to stay on point, sleep light, and just pay attention.
Now, Kane, normally when we do these prison stories, we don't do it to glorify the actions and the, things that happen in prison. We're not trying to make light of it. It's more for education basis. There's a lot of kids out here, that's taking penitentiary chances that, probably might listen and look up to someone like you, You still got your youth to you. So that means you survive hell, basically. But if you can you speak to the young kids out there that might be taking these penitentiary chances as far as what they're losing, what they're giving up, if they do have to go sit down for the time you have to sit down yourself?
Only reason I got quiet when you answer that question, man, is because if I was talking to the youth, sometimes you have to ask them what do they really want out of life. And to get an understanding of what they want out of life, you have to look at the picture that they looking at. Because the picture that they looking at is one that's coming through her, and is one that's coming through her. The shit they see and the shit they hear is impacting the picture that they painting. Because it ain't the one mom and daddy giving them. Because mom and daddy ain't talking to them as much as the radio. Mom and daddy ain't talking to them as much as YouTube, the video game. It ain't talking to them as much. So majority of their teachings is coming from that bullshit. And that's why I kind of relate to Charleston White a little bit when he says certain things about y'all speak on me and my delivery, but I'm speaking against the devil. And you can't pay attention to my delivery when I'm talking against the powers of evil. Long as I said, it is what it is. And see, the shit that they hear impacts their vision and their understanding on life. So when you try to reach them, you just can't reach to them by saying, hey, sit down and do this and that. You got to change that picture. In other words, they'll listen to you. This is my belief. They'll listen to you, but you got to give them something to listen to. And you can't come on too strong because they already got too much invested in them. To get that up out of them, you got to really give them something to pay attention to. And a lot of kids don't have somebody who gonna say, hey, look here, man, I'm gonna show you something. You can live like this or you can live like this. You can start now or you can start later. But I'm gonna tell you the difference between the two. If you start now while you're young, it might seem a little hard, but when you get older, it's gonna be easy, man. Or you can party and fuck everything off and run through this shit while you're young, but when you get older, it's gonna be twice as hard because your body ain't built like it used to be. But now you got to power up. And that's why when I see people 50, 60 years old, they at Walmart, 49, 48, at McDonald's and in a drive-thru, that let me know what majority of your life was doing, what you was doing when you was younger. Because ain't nowhere in hell you supposed to be here at 45. Now, if you made a poor decision and got locked up, I can understand. But even then, you're still not supposed to be there because you spent too many years locked up. Should have been educating this to where when you got out, you could go around that and get right in the loop. That's why I commend a lot of people who get out, man, and go grab their CDL. That's the first thing they can do, just to make some legit money.
Yeah, be your own boss at time.
Yeah, do your own thing. But for some of them who don't have no plan, you know what they always say, man, ain't no money in McDonald's. Okay, well, that goes back to this here, bro. You got to invest in you. If you ain't got the time to sit down and go to school, you'll never have what you want to have, man. And then you're going to be sitting over there looking at what the next man got, talking about what's clean and what you wish you had, but they ain't no better than you. See, the thing about success and people who have what you don't have, it's only two reasons, man. Either they know something that you don't know, or either they doing something that you're not doing. That's the only reason somebody got more than you. Yeah. That's the only reason, in my belief. That's why I try to seek out information.
And I appreciate you. You were saying earlier off camera that, prison, you could do one thing. You could either go up, go down, or stay blank. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I felt that.
Right.
As far as staying blank is almost as worse as going down as far as doing nothing with your time. So with that being said, I got to say, man, Kane, I appreciate you, man, coming through and sitting down talking to us. This is Prison Stories 101.
Let me
oh,
say,
no, please speak on it.
Let me say one thing, because I don't think nobody ever probably told you this, man. You know when you become an inmate, convict, felon, that's the shit they put on your ID card. Now it's offender. See, this is how you understand a person who's been through the system. See, the ID card now has offender on there. The one before that had inmate on there. The one before that had convict on there. The one before that had felon on there. That's the chain of command. But being either any of that, when you got that ID card, it's like being half dead and half alive. People don't understand what that means. But this is what the old school told me, who I slid up on his wing when I was in the county jail, man. He said, you half alive right now. He said, listen to me carefully. You in the ground and you above the ground at the same time. He say, so you gonna have the powers of good and evil pulling on you no matter what you do in jail. And I used to ask him, man, what you mean half dead and half alive? He say, half dead and half alive. He say, look here, man, you finna be behind a glass. Let's say this whole floor is the glass, right? You under the ground looking up at the glass. You can see everybody up there. You can see their problems. They can come to the glass. They can move their lips. You can understand them. But you dead to them. Because no matter how much they scream for help, you in the ground. Ain't nothing you can do to help them. You get a letter and they saying somebody got shot or somebody got jumped on, where was you at? You was dead, sitting in jail, right? That's where you was at. That's half dead and being half alive. Because you can see it, you can hear it, you can acknowledge it. That's the alive part. But you can't do shit about it. That's the dead part. Nigga, you don't count. You a zero. So that's how some people, to maintain their sanity while incarcerated, you learn to live up here. That's the only way to stay free. In jail, that's the only way to stay free. You have to learn to live up here. Your body will always be chained up if you break the law and you get sent there. But your mind, it'll never be changed up. That's why when I said the statement about psychologists would understand it real fast, but somebody who's not a psychologist, it's gonna fly past them. When I said somebody on death row or sit back and submit to these officers, hey, take that picture out the wall. Hey, give me that naked picture of that woman. I'm gonna write you a case why you ain't shaved. And they take it all down, they go shaving their hand at there. A psychologist understand. Not only are you locked up physically, you locked up mentally. But then here they come to the rec yard and you run into me. Hey, get off this fence, get back behind that line. Man, you better get your bitch ass on, fuck that whole ass line. He locked up physically, but he not locked up mentally. You know why? Because I show no respect toward the authority you have over me as a prisoner. When you said get back, I looked at you like you was a regular motherfucker. I looked at you like you wasn't shit. I have succumbed to your kingdom, but my actions tell you I'm not fit to return to society. That's the main reason, because I don't show no sign of obedience. But all the while I am obedient because I came up with a plan for me in my life. That's freedom. But if I listen to you, I'm gonna get back behind that line. Nah, man, that's not freedom when you behind the line. You step over that bitch, and when they tell you back up, fuck you. Bitch, I'm gonna stand here, do what you gonna do. And that's how you let somebody know, no matter what you do or what go on, in my head, it's always my way. But then, again, it's like a chess game. And that's why I say politics and everything in prison is tricky, man. Because certain shit get enacted and go in effect when needed. Certain shit get ignored when needed. And then it's the same thing with the survivor. I'll jump to fight if I already won. But if I gotta fight to win, I'm gonna pass it up.
That's real. Man, with that being said, message. As we do these prison stories, we just scratching the surface. As much time as you did, as much knowledge as you have, Right now, we're just scratching the surface. So, you know, Dan, definitely want to thank you for coming in and speaking with us. And we definitely gonna have you back on and do some more conversations in regards to these stories. But with that being said, this is Prison Stories 101. Kane, I salute you, bro.
Right on, man. Take it easy.
Let's go.